from one of our awesome. Alrighty then. So my name again is Glo Lopez. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm one of the managers here and blessed to be part of the Impact Agency. And I'm super excited about today. We get to hear from someone that you guys kind of get to see on a weekly basis, right? Someone who's been plugging into our Zoom calls for a little while here. And most people don't necessarily, well, haven't really plugged into Zoom dials. And we were talking earlier today with Mia, and I think that I had mentioned this to Avery as well. So those of us who are on a Monday and Thursday weekly basis on Zoom dials, we're not special. We're nothing special at all, you guys. Our commitment to what we do, I think it may just be a little bit higher. And but that's not to say that you can get there, right? And so the things that we go through on the phones, or how we um, answer, how we respond to certain things that clients will say on the phone, is just merely practice. That's really all it is. We just have been doing this for a little bit longer. That's the only difference between anyone who is brand new here and those of us that have been um, doing this for a while. So before I introduce our guest speaker, I want to make sure that everyone that is here, please turn your cameras on. I personally feel that it is disrespectful to have your cameras off when you have someone who is taking time out of their schedule, a top producer who is willing to help you get better. And so also when you see the screen, right, it's good to see different faces, just to make sure that we are making this interactive, and let our speaker know that you're listening to them, that you're taking notes, that you're interactive, that you're smiling, and all that stuff. Okay, so highly appreciate all of you guys who are turning your cameras on. Really, really appreciate it. And so, again, without any further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Miranda Peters. Thank you, Miranda, for taking time and being with us today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of
Appreciate it.
course. Thank you. Thank you. So, you and I talk, pretty often, and I'm excited for everyone to hear, right? Because, like I was saying, I mean, not everybody necessarily takes advantage of, when you dial live here on Zoom, and you're probably getting a lot of questions. Obviously, as you're getting your numbers up and stuff like that, there's probably a lot of people calling you trying to figure out, hey, Miranda, what are you doing? What's the magic sauce? Tell me the magic. What is it that me specifically have to do? And I will do everything that you tell me, because you're just amazing, right? And what they don't understand is that there's a process. And so I kind of want to talk about that. I mean, unless you have anything very specific that you want to touch on, but we'll go on a few questions. But really, the way that I want this to go is just as simple as it is, right? I mean, just
Mhm.
letting everyone know that, hey, getting back to what I was saying before, we're not special. We just work way harder than a lot of people, and that's all it is, right? And so why don't we go ahead and start by introducing yourself, let everybody know maybe what you were doing before, and how long have you been with FFL?
Yeah, for sure. So, been with the FFL about gosh, 3.5 years. It's crazy. It goes by so fast. I come from a marketing background, so corporate. Went to school, got my undergrad in marketing, and then got my master's in business. Probably a couple of the most expensive pieces of paper that I ever that I ever bought. And then here I am. Told myself I would never be in sales. I wasn't crazy about the 9 to 5, sitting at a desk all day. Um, and so I found FFL, and I just decided, hey, why not? Like, let me try it out and see what happens. Um, and definitely it took me a while to figure it out here. Um, had some success here and there, but kind of rode the roller coaster that I'm sure everyone is aware of. Right, I wasn't very consistent initially, and I don't know, just 3.5 years later, I would say it took me about 2 years to really kind of stop messing around and take it seriously, stop treating it like a hobby. Um, and I haven't looked back ever since. So just yeah, that's where I come from. Marketing, 9 to 5
Awesome.
wasn't for me.
So pretty much same route that most people come from, right? Didn't
Mhm.
necessarily own your own business before, or
Mm-mm.
you didn't have this revelation that you were gonna be a self-employed life insurance agent with a growing agency, right? Nothing like that, right?
No,
Okay. So do me a
no.
favor, guys. If y'all can just raise your hand if y'all come from pretty much the same type of background, that Miranda comes from, just a regular job, 9 to 5, not necessarily too excited about it, right? Okay, got it. Maybe some college degrees and things like that. Okay, perfect. All right, good thing. And I'm glad that we're talking about this, Miranda, because again, it's not someone that you were already, that you knew that you had to invest, right, in a business, or you knew that you have to be very disciplined on schedule, on the things that you were gonna tell yourself, because now it all depends on you. So if we can just touch base on this real quick. So good thing, we hear a lot of success, quick success, right, in FFL, and it's great, right, but I relate to you a whole lot because it took a while, right? So you said that you started about 3.5 years ago, and you had some success, right? You were kind of like playing around with this, and I know that you're not gonna take this wrong, but you did say that this was you were playing around this with, like, as a hobby, right?
Yeah,
What do you
100%.
what do you say when you say that you were treating this as a hobby?
So I think the biggest thing, right, is it is a lot more money than I think most of us are used to if we come from corporate. Um, Meaning, salary based, whatever. So when you have a good week or maybe a good month with FFL, and you're like, oh, well, I can pay my bills and maybe it's a little extra, then you kind of let your foot off the gas and slow down because you're like, I deserve the weekend off. I've been working hard. Um, well, we own our own business, you guys, and so ultimately that's not how this works. And I'm only saying this because I did it, because I would have a great week or a great month, and I would go on vacation, and then I would have chargeback after chargeback and cancellation or whatever. You're not enjoying your vacation. You're not making any more money. If anything, you're in the negative. And so the consistency, I think, is what really I needed to stop in order to stop treating it like a hobby, right? Because we can do this part time, quote unquote, but if we don't have anything else to fall back on, it's really hard to do this part time and not stay consistent with this, because we're running our own business. So did that answer your question? Just treating it
It
like a
does,
hobby,
yeah.
just playing
Yeah,
around with it,
for sure.
doesn't
And
work.
obviously this is geared towards someone who's looking to do this full time, right? And again, kind of
Yeah.
like going based on what you said, your background, coming from a 9 to 5, kind of just tired of what you were doing, looking for the best option, right? So I mean, when Miranda says, hey, I was treating this as a hobby, this is not to say anything about those of you guys who are doing this part time. Most of us start that way. But if you're
Mhm.
already looking at doing this full time, you've already seen some success and stuff like that, it's going to take more commitment. And I think that this is where I want to get to afterwards, because you said that you've gone through the roller coaster, right? Emotions, I mean, whatever you want to go, I mean, whatever you mean by that. But it is a roller coaster because it's not, it's business ownership, right? I mean, I was looking at a post the other day, and it was just a wreck, right? Just to kind of like paint a picture. And really, that's what business ownership is all about, right? Because at the beginning, nothing necessarily goes right, but as long as you stick to it and you understand that there are some things that you have to change. And so when did that change for you? So treating it as a hobby, and maybe you got a little frustrated, right? Maybe you wanted to quit, maybe you just wanted to give up. What happened? What changed? And what are some of the things that you did or had to do?
Yeah. So I would say last summer, last July, I think is when I really started taking it seriously. Maybe May, June-ish, but I had a real serious conversation with my husband about just, what do we want? What does our future look like financially? When are we going to have kids? All that, right? So I want to do a lot and I have pretty big goals. And so he had said to me, you know, why don't you figure out your first business first? And like that hurt to hear, right? Like I'm like, what do you mean? Like I've got it figured out, right? But I kind of sat back and he was right? Like I would come home and I would have an O for day, right? Have 8 appointments, 10 appointments and sell nothing and help no families. And just feel like I think I'm gonna quit. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I would even have days where I helped maybe 5, 6 families in a day, and I still would come home and say, "What am I doing? I don't think I'm in the right place." And so I don't know. Having that serious conversation about things kind of made me realize that yeah, I do need to figure this out because I was kind of teetering with like wanting to be successful, but then still being young and free and traveling and you can do both. I just wasn't making it a priority to do both. And so I think I just got tired of the roller coaster ultimately because it's a roller coaster of emotions. You can take the emotion out of it. You definitely can train yourself to do that. And I think I've gotten a lot better at that than I was in the beginning. But at the end of the day, right, if you're writing business one week and then you're letting yourself take your foot off the gas the next week and just staying inconsistent, you're going to get frustrated. And I think I just got so tired of wanting to quit one week and then getting pumped up again the next week. And, when I help families, great. When I don't help families, great. It was still a great day. And I think that was the biggest thing was just realizing that, hey, I'm either going to do this and I'm going to do it right in the way that it was done, right? The way that it's laid out for us, there's a process. It works. I just wasn't doing it. And so I kind of just made that shift after that serious conversation that we had just to decide, hey, I'm doing this because I didn't have a plan B. So is this or get it back on LinkedIn and try and find more corporate jobs, which I absolutely did not want to do. So I knew that much.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think that this is good for you to share, and I'm glad that we're getting an opportunity to talk about this because we don't necessarily, talk too much about this. And one of the things that I really liked about FFL is that it's all, hey, this is what you need to do. It's all meat and potatoes, right? But it's great to find out, and that's what we have True Talks too, right? On FFL and all the podcasts, because you kind of get to see a little bit about, behind the producer, like, hey, what goes on? Yes, Miranda, it's 50 families and over producer, right? We see her dial, and we see her that she's at the office or in your home office from 8 o'clock until you're done. I know that you, Ashley, and Mia sometimes log in at about 8 p.m. at night, and you guys are still dialing and all that, and we're gonna get to that here in a little bit. And so, but you talked about not having a plan B, right? And so, and I think that is one of the biggest things for a lot of new agents, that for whatever reason they just tiptoeing, about either getting started or what to do. And I relate to that as well because that's where I was too. Okay, and it's okay to do that, but as long as you are willing to go through that process, because it's going to be a much longer training curve, I believe. But also when you get to that point where you understand that there's a switch that has to be made, like you're going to have, some things has to change. you got to understand that that's where you're gonna, meet yourself at a crossroads and say, hey, am I going to continue to do the same thing that I'm doing, or am I willing to change? And I think that that's where you were last year, right at the beginning of last year. And so you talked about having a plan B. Here in the Boca office, there's a sign that says plan B is to make plan A work. So if that resounds, to you guys at all, please make sure that you write it down. But if it doesn't, it's okay too, right? I mean, continue to plug in and stuff like that until you feel that that's where you need to go. So you talked about, and real quick, so everybody knows, right? Tell us a little bit about your dynamics. So you mentioned husband, you mentioned young. So how old are you?
I'm 28. I'll be 29 in December. No kids yet. I am married. I have a dog baby, so I guess that counts, right?
A dog baby, yeah, that counts. That counts, sure, for sure. I had two dog babies before I have my two babies. So, got it. Okay, so obviously, it's for some of us or some of you guys around here, you guys are single, you guys have no kids, you guys are young, you guys are able to do a bunch of things, right? So, I mean, definitely take advantage of that as well. But obviously, being married, your husband is involved and he supports you 100%. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome.
absolutely. It's important to get your spouse on board.
Why don't you go ahead and talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, initially, right, he kind of understood here and there what things were about, but it got to the point where, there were late nights. I would be gone on Saturdays running, or maybe even Sundays, or dialing into the evening. And if it was, hey, like, when are we going to have dinner? Or, hey, we're going to go here. We've got these plans, whatever the case may be, things. And I had to be like, no, I'm working, or distract myself and go, right. And then put my business on the back burner. None of that was a good thing. So whether I was working at home or working in an office, he had to understand, hey, just because I'm here and I'm home and I'm present, my body is here. Like, my mind is elsewhere. Like, I'm working. I don't have time to sit here and, talk about whatever. And he understood that. I'm getting him, honestly, I would have trainings playing, during cooking dinner, just on speaker or whatever. He started to kind of understand the way that the business works, and communication, I think, is key, because if they're not on board with what you're doing, it could be, I mean, we are business owners, we are working a lot. And so if they're not understanding what we're trying to accomplish for our future, for ultimately our families, then it can be frustrating. It can be tough. So they do have to understand that. And a big thing that I did for him was just kind of, maybe not even to a point where we both realized it, but I would just kind of have a training playing in the background, not on purpose, quote unquote, but kind of on purpose, right? So he could start to learn the way that the business works and what it takes to be successful here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, for sure. Yeah, no, I think that that's important too, because I mean, at the end of the day, it is a business. And see, for us, you guys, and we're all family oriented, I believe, right? And if you're not, it's okay, right? I mean, you still have goals, you still have things that you want to accomplish, and there might be someone who you want to be accountable to. There might be someone that you are not necessarily have to respond to or anything like that, but it's important to have that someone that is there to support you. But and I mentioned that because you kind of said that when you were trying to figure things out and trying to do different things, he kind of said, you got to figure your first business first, right? Figure it out first. So and so I want to make sure that everybody understands what those dynamics look like, because you're not necessarily, if you're working, you're very busy working, right? And this takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. So we're gonna talk for the next 30 minutes about maybe a little bit about some of the things that the non-negotiables for you. So like leads, schedule, maybe what your specific schedule looks like, because you do travel pretty often, every week, if not twice a week. And
Mhm.
so the other thing too is that if you guys have any specific questions, please make sure that you're writing them down on the chat, and we can go through those as we go through the interview. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about what your schedule looks like on a weekly basis?
Okay, it's really magical, you guys. I dial on Mondays. I run Tuesday, Wednesday. I dial on Thursdays. I run Friday, Saturday. If I have to dial on Sunday to get a head start, I will. So whether that's from like 4 to 7 p.m., just a small window. Sundays are awesome dial days, especially if you are not where you want to be in this business. I think that was when I really started getting consistent. My 30 plus appointments a week consistently was when I started dialing on Sundays. That helped me so much. So that's that's the gist of it. I do travel, yes. So
Okay.
typically it's really lead based for me based on what comes in. But I may be dialing Monday for Tuesday, Wednesday out of town. So I either fly out Monday nights and I have Tuesday, Wednesday fully booked up. And then I'll take the first flight home on Thursday morning to make sure that I'm back to dialing for Friday, Saturday. Or if it's somewhere that I can drive to, maybe 2.5, 3.5 hour drive, then same thing, dial Monday. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to leave and head over to Alabama. I'm in Atlanta. I don't know if anyone doesn't know that, that's where I'm at. So tomorrow morning, I'll head over to Alabama. Wednesday night, I'll be back home. So I'll have, 15, 18, 20 appointments for the next couple of days booked up on my schedule. And just real quick, my biggest thing, right? So yes, I do dial into the evening. If I don't have my appointment goals, you guys, every day is a dial day. I know that that's so hard. I don't know why that was hard for me to comprehend, right? If I didn't have my 15 appointments come Tuesday, my first appointment's not till 12, 1 o'clock. Oh, well, I've got time. I just thought I had all this time, like free time. Like go to the gym and have a late lunch or whatever. Like, no, get up, get your stuff done as if you have an 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock appointment, and get back on the phones until you
Right.
hit your goals. That was such a hard thing for me to grasp. So I
Yeah.
know I'm not the only one.
Oh, no, you're not. And I forgot that I was unmuted, so I just started laughing. I'm sorry. So it's
You're
funny
okay.
because I would found myself, doing the same kind of thing, right? And see, for me, Miranda, it was more of like, and see, so I did it, right? So when I see other agents do it, it is so frustrating, because one of the biggest things that I want to make sure that if I'm able to do one thing here for every new agent, is let y'all know exactly what I did wrong and what frustrated me, what got me in debt, what got me to the point that I wanted to quit, so you guys don't actually have to go through that. So again, the messages, that was so good, that was so smooth, that you're amazing on the phone, blah 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 blah. We train on homes and on in homes, and we bring someone along with us, and it's like, oh my goodness, you are an expert at this. And it's like, no, we've gone through this like really hard. We've had our really hard times, right? And so I will do the same thing. So I wouldn't book any appointments for the next day. And it's like, okay, well, then I have the day off. And then even worse, I wouldn't necessarily take advantage of that time to either dial again or door knock, Miranda, or, try to resolve leads, and then had to wait to the next dialing day, quote unquote, right?
Mhm.
And now you have 2 days that you haven't done anything. Right. And so
Yeah.
I know that was frustrating.
I'll start over next week.
I'll start over next
Why?
week. Right. Exactly.
We've all
Yeah.
done it, you guys. We've all done it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And don't get me wrong. I mean, what we do is very, very forgiving, right? But and this just came to me. So, but our bills are not. Your family, your kids, the people that you have to feed, right? That there, it's not. Those are some things that are not necessarily too forgiving. So, I mean, it's better to change those things early, enough. Okay, so good thing. Thanks for sharing that, Miranda. And so I wanna hold off on your travel trips here real quickly. And so let's go back to your schedule real quick. And I wanna talk about this because I think that this is so important. Most new agents think that they need to know everything about product, that they need to know all the companies, and they need to know exactly what to say in the home. Don't get me wrong, in-home is very important, and there are certain things, and I kind of want to also touch base on that too. But real quickly, your dial days, like you mentioned that if you have to dial in a Sunday, you will do that. And then what does your dial days look like?
Um, so yeah, dial days typically start by 8 a.m., right? My leads are ready the night before so that I'm not scrambling at 8, 9 in the morning to figure everything out and get organized. Um, that way come 8 o'clock, I can start hitting the phones. I know there are some states, I guess you guys can, some people can start at 7:30, which is totally fine. Um, I start at 8. But I'm dialing at 8, meaning if it, to set my schedule, right? If a family member calls or my dad, whatever, somebody calls at 10 o'clock and I'm dialing, like, hey, I'm dialing, I'll call you back. It's not like, let me take this call for 45 minutes and then let me go run an errand because, my husband thinks that I have free time. I'm working, right? And so I know that that's another thing that was hard for me to grasp, but protecting your dial time is so crucial to this business because the phones are 80% of this business at the end of the day. And so, yeah, so I'm dialing until I hit my 15 appointments for the next 2 days.
It doesn't
So,
matter the
so
time.
no, it doesn't matter the time. I know that people are like, what's a good time to dial? What's a good day to dial? Every day and every time there are good times to dial. I don't know. Like I've even had Friday nights. I was dialing until 9:30 p.m. and booking appointments. Like I had nothing on Saturday and I had finished my appointments on Friday and I still didn't have enough for whatever for Saturday. And I was like, I don't know, 8-10 appointments booked by 9:30 on a Friday night. So there's no like, oh, it's Memorial Day or oh, it's this day. People are, I mean, if you're gonna get excuses, like they're gonna be the same people who tell you that it's raining outside and they can't be on the phone because it's raining outside.
Mhm.
There's no excuse for us to be able to protect our family, you guys. That
That's
just
good.
is what it is.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Good thing. So, I mean, tying down with what you're saying right now. So, what does what does get organized looks like for you?
Number one is making sure that you have enough leads for the next day. Because if you have your dial day, if you start your dial day and you've got like 15 new leads, you're going to be frustrated. It just is what it is. Make sure that you have enough leads. And I know that everyone's enough leads looks a little different. If you're calling internet leads, I would say 100 to 150 brand new to you leads, even if it's 1 month or 3 month, whatever, mix of everything. Have enough leads and get them organized before. Don't start buying your leads on a dial day. That's going to be a disaster. It comes to be 10, 11 o'clock and you're like, oh my goodness, I haven't even started. And you just get frustrated, comes out on the phones. Then you maybe didn't book your first appointment until 2 or 3 o'clock. It just don't just get organized the night before, make sure you have enough leads. We're business owners, right? And so if we had a pizza shop and it's Friday night and we ran out of sauce and dough and cheese, we can't open on Saturday unless we prepare Friday night to make sure that we have the ingredients to open Saturday, right? It's the same thing. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, it was just a direct question to me on the chat and stuff like that. And also, I mean, they were asking, does this mean print them out or whatever? It really means whatever you need to do to get prepared. I mean, if you want to print them out or use them on an Excel sheet or, whatever it is, if you want to organize them by county, by city, either way. I mean, and now I kind of want to go on this. So tapping into that as well. Someone asked, what were some of the type of leads that you used when you were getting started? And in the beginning, and what leads were you working?
The magic ones.
I love those.
I'm just kidding. So I know that you guys probably hear this over and over again, right? A lead is a lead is a lead. It really is. When I first started, which was 3.5 years ago, so a while back, we didn't have internet leads. We didn't have as much access to a lot of the leads that we have today, which I don't know about you guys, but I am super grateful for the lead availability that we have in the CRM at the click of a button.
Tell them how much we used to pay for those final expense Facebook leads.
Facebook. So yeah, we started with Facebook final expense leads, and I would maybe be able to buy 30 for the week. And I want to say it was like $800, $750 to $800, $850, somewhere in there for like 30 final expense leads. And then you had like a 50-mile radius. So you could get, for those of you, I think most of you guys are in Atlanta. So we could get like a lead up in Cartersville, and then we could get a lead in like McDonough, and so it's just, we are very blessed with the leads that we have today. So me personally, I really buy everything. I do have some leads with MailPro, but I also run a lot of instance and new internet leads, 1 month leads, and then the 1 to 3 month mortgage, 1 and 2 month final expense. I don't know how to explain, but when I started being consistent with my business and realizing, like, there might have been a week where I was like, oh wow, well, I helped mainly families that were from the internet leads. Or maybe the next week it was like, I mainly helped families from my final expense mailers. At the end of the month, when I went back and like really look at everything that I helped families with all of the leads, like evenly almost. There's no magic to it.
Right.
There really isn't. I really do work everything.
Yeah. So as a new agent, you would definitely recommend that they start with the leads in the CRM and take advantage of the availability that we have with the internet leads, whether it be 1 month old, 3 month old. And I know that you, Ashley, and I think it's Princess, I believe. I want to say maybe Anissa as well. You guys have used the 1 month and the 3 month old internet leads a whole lot, and you guys have gotten a bunch of success out of those. And so you guys are what I call excuse removers, because that's really what it is. And I like to just say how it is, you guys. I mean, there's a bunch of excuses from agents that are not necessarily getting better on the phone, right? And would you say that that's what has helped you with those type of leads, just making sure that there's a way that you are very direct, on the phones when calling those leads?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. It's the purpose of the phone call, you guys, is to book an appointment to get in front of them. And that's my mindset. I don't care what else they tell me. I don't care what color the sky is. I don't care if their dog is barking. I don't care if their dog bites. I don't, it doesn't matter to me. My thing is I'm getting in front of them, because I can't tell you the amount of appointments that I would not have if I did not get good on the phones would be like less than half. less than half of what I'm able to book now. And it came from repetition. It came from doing it. I mean, you guys, a lot of you guys are on this live dial, you know, every morning. And so every Monday and Thursday, and you know, I get hung up on too. Like I'm not just some magical, I'm able to book everyone I get on the phone. It
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
You just have to get past it. You have to get through it.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And we're not going to get into what you say on the phone on every type of lead and all that kind of stuff, because you all have an opportunity to jump on the Zoom dials and hear Miranda for the most part. I mean, she's dialing. Honestly, she's blessing us, and she's gracing us with her dials every Monday and Thursday, because I don't think everybody knows, but you're not necessarily part of our team. I've been looking to find a way how to you know, figure that one out, but I haven't just yet. But anyways, and you guys can jump in here and make sure that you guys ask any questions on Mondays and Thursdays in regards to phone script specifically. Okay, so let's jump into oh, I have a specific question when you travel, but I know that you travel a lot. And so can you tell us a little bit about, and the reason why I'm asking is because there's a few agents in here that do travel a little bit. And so what does that look for you when you travel? How do you get prepared for that lead wise? You know, amount of time that you're spending out there, just making sure that you're productive in the process of, you know, going there and while you're there as well. So also, and you just touch base on that too, like you are, making sure that you have enough leads with internet and new internet leads as well. So tell us a little bit about your travel trips.
Yeah. So, so for me, honestly, I started traveling because I realized that I was trying to stay in my backyard and not go too far. But the biggest thing with that, you guys, is I didn't have enough leads for me to do that. If you can do that and you consistently have enough leads to be able to book your 30 appointments a week, great, more power to you. I did not have that. I tried to stay in a couple counties, not more than maybe an hour to 2 hours from my house, and it just wasn't working. So I know, again, this is nothing like crazy. I watched the CRM week after week and tried to figure out what areas had leads consistently. And so I found a couple of those areas, and I would just buy internet leads, and I would buy 150 because it is more of a risk to buy less leads, to spend less money on leads. So if you have the opportunity to buy 150, or if you're like, hey, should I just buy 50? Buy 150 because it's going to give you more chances. But that's essentially what I did to start traveling, because I realized I didn't have enough to stay local. So initially traveling, it's fun for me. It is, because I do enjoy traveling. I do like to see new places and just get out. But it almost, it forces you out of your comfort zone for one. I got extremely uncomfortable. If you tell me, if anyone tells me that, oh, just buy some leads and hop on a plane and go somewhere by yourself and meet with families and, you know, go to a town that you've never been to in your life, that's not, it's not comfortable. And so, you know, that was a big thing. And then the other thing too is, so making sure that I had enough leads to run my 30 appointments was a big reason. And then it pushed me to get more uncomfortable with the families I sat with, because I found myself being more direct. I found myself being more confident going to people who had tried to text me to cancel. I found myself being more direct with people who maybe tried to porch me at the door. Hey, can we reschedule? Can we do this later? No, I'm here now. If I were home, sure, no problem. When's a better time next week? Why? What if they're not here next week? And so I just, hey, we're going to think about this. What is there to think about? Get through that in the home, right? All of these things that just allowed me to be more direct And then I got to realize that I worked a lot harder when I invested in traveling and taking travel trips. Because when you're home, you're comfortable, right? If I had a gap in my day, I would go home and eat lunch and go back out. But if I'm traveling, um, there's nothing stopping. Like, what am I going to do? Go back to my hotel instead of my hotel? No, I'm going to go door knock if I get a no show, or I'm going to make some more calls. There's nothing else to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And so you also did mention that you don't necessarily limit yourself. I don't know if you meant to say this or not, but it's funny because that's just your work ethic, the mentality that you're in. So you don't stop at 15 appointments. You make sure that you have way more than the appointments that you typically will need, because of the fact that you're gonna get no shows, you're gonna get, or actually, you tell us why.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, there's no shows happen, porches still happen, um, one legs, right? Or hey, we don't want this, whatever the case may be. We're sick. All of those things happen, right? And you can get through some of it. You can get through a lot of it. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure, like, I would rather no show someone else than get no showed myself. I would rather miss an appointment because I literally got so far behind and maybe they're super out of the way than not have people to see. So if I'm traveling, if I'm spending money on a plane and a hotel and a car and leads, I'm not just gonna book 12 appointments and be content with that. You know, I do for a while. I was booking, 12, 13, 14 appointments in a day with those internet leads. You guys, I mean, just book them up. Hey, I'm coming by to bring
Yeah.
this information to you, and that's it.
For sure. Got you. Got you. Got you. Okay, good thing. So I'm pretty sure that we lost a bunch of the people that are not necessarily looking to travel, right? And so I want to take it let's take it back real quick. So if you're not necessarily traveling, right? And we're gonna go back to some of the struggles, and there's a question on the chat there too, that what were some of these struggles that you had to go through? And the reason that I kind of wanted to leave this for the end, along with another one, as far as like the communication that you have daily, or who do you communicate with to get into the next level. But what were some, I feel that the biggest battle for us as business owners, as insurance agents, as people that, or people that we have to be on the phone and battle certain emotions, and just communicate with other people, right? I feel that our mind is the biggest thing that we have
Mhm.
to overcome, right? And so at the beginning for you, what would you say on those first couple of years, as you were trying to figure out if this is what you wanted to do or not? What were some of those things that you had to battle with, and how did you overcome those?
Um, Discipline, I think, is number one. Um, I think that's I think that's a lot of people. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, is discipline. I mean, at the end of the day, right? Do we feel like getting up and dialing through hundreds and hundreds of numbers all day long until we get 15 appointments? Does anyone feel like doing that, you guys? Someone raise their hand if they do, because you're lying. um, I think that was probably my biggest struggle is being disciplined enough to do that. Especially, I mean, again, going back to if you had a decent week, right? You feel like you deserve to take the day off, and you don't need to call. You'll call tomorrow, and you'll be just fine. Um, Getting through that, kind of having short-term, I think it's Dom Rogers who talks about that a lot, having short-term memory in this business, right? It doesn't matter what happened yesterday or what happened last week or last month. um, you know 50 families last month, great. I act like it doesn't happen, and I'm still here in the office styling for Tuesday, Wednesday, right? The old me would have been like, oh, I'm good. I can take the whole month off. What do you mean? No, we're business owners, right? And so if you have big goals and you want to be successful, you have to keep going like nothing happened. And that comes with taking the emotion out of it, I think, too, Gio. Because dial days are hard,
Yeah.
they can get to your head for sure. And then it starts to come out on the phones. And so you have to be okay enough to stay monotone through that and fake it until you make it. I mean, I guess that's the best way to put it, because dial days aren't fun. We get
They
that. We
aren't.
all know
They
that.
aren't fun. But I
But
think
just do it
also that,
anyway.
well,
It's
yeah,
kind of the
right. And
thing.
then I know that I have mentioned this to you before, because you are disciplined enough, because some of the new agents here will probably see that you're in your home office and stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, I feel that discipline has, in your case, was developed early on. Because for me, I couldn't stay home. I was not productive at home. And I feel that you have to understand yourself in order to determine what's going to be the best move for you, right? And so for some of us, we needed to be around an office. I needed to go around someone who is having much more success than I was, and I needed to go out and hear somebody else. But if you're not willing to do that, again, no one is going to tell you what to do in here. I feel that it is very important to do that, though. But if you don't go to an office, you have to be disciplined enough to understand that you somehow need to be plugging in somewhere to something somewhere online. You need to be listening to enough trainings. You need to be trying different type of phone scripts, different types of um, in-home presentations and all that kind of stuff. And so I know that we're running out of time in here. And so one last question in regards to that, as far as like, getting to where you are right now, and helping you in that process of changing it from a hobby to a real business, and helping you with your consistency, and with the coasters of emotions, right? And it's always asking, what are the three top people that you typically reach out to that will help you push your business to the next level?
Um, so I don't necessarily think that I can choose like top three people. I think my biggest thing was having training. Training is a big thing for me. For a very long time, still to this day, like I don't really listen to a lot of radio in the car. I actually got this from Grayson Hughes. He would have the Family First Life podcast play like from the beginning through to the end. When he was a new agent, he didn't listen music or any videos or whatever. Like he would just have that podcast playing in between appointments, when he was on the road, in between phone calls, whatever. And you're not going to catch everything, but it helps your mindset and you get little nuggets here and there. The other thing I would say is definitely, yes, I do reach out to people who are at levels above me, if that makes sense. So if I was helping 20 families a month, I wanted to reach out to people doing 30 and 40. How do I get there? Was that uncomfortable for me? Yes. You guys, I am an introverted person. Going out and putting myself out there like that was very uncomfortable for me. But I've always told myself you can't grow unless you get uncomfortable. So reaching out to people, having a running buddy, I think is important too, to keep your head on straight. And by running buddy, I don't mean someone that you can call and complain to all day long, who's going to bring you down with them, or, snoop down to your level. I mean, someone who you can call and say, hey, I'm having a rough day. Here's what happened. What can I change? And what can I do better next time? So having maybe 2 to 3 of those people that you maybe reach out to regularly. Gio, I know that you were one that I called when I wanted to quit. you know, and I was jumping off the ledge. But you find people in this business, right, who kind of think similarly to you. And so, or maybe get you to think about the business in a different way as well. It's good to have both types of those people, I think, to reach out to help guide you. But I think the biggest thing going along with that is, if you're reaching out to people for advice, take their advice. Like, don't, and this is not to be mean, you guys, this is just me being honest with you. Don't sit there and reach out to people and say, oh, but I did that, or oh, but I do that already, or oh, but that. Those people aren't going to be wanting to help you anymore. And so when there's these top producers who maybe stop answering your phone calls, like, that's probably why. Does that make sense? Because I know now, it is, I am so busy all the time. And so, and I love it, right? I love it. I enjoy it. But if someone reaches out to me and they're trying to get guidance and help, and I'm trying to help them, and they're like, oh, but I know that already. I'm sorry, but the next time you call me, I probably can't answer because I'm that busy, realistically, right? And again, you guys, that's not me being mean, so I hope that no one's offended by that. But it's just, we want to be productive here. We want to help you, but if you're not letting us help you, that's tough. So I would say that's important. Training and reaching out to people who are going to bring you up and lift you up, constructive criticism, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that definitely helps. And I know that I've made that mistake too. I've called Chris Photo, Steve Giordano, Frank DeSena. I remember when I used to go to their smaller office here in Boca and Nick Ayala. It was just maybe them three, maybe one more person and myself, and we will brainstorm, on some of the things that we would do. And then obviously, I thought that I knew it all. Mind you, I wasn't training, I wasn't plugging in, I wasn't reaching out to anyone. And then when they said something, I was like, oh yeah, but I'm doing that too, right? And at one point, I'm pretty sure they knew that I wasn't doing it, because I was obviously not writing as much as they did, right? But yeah, you start realizing those who are listening or not. And then the other thing that I will add to that too is, because of the fact that we are busy, and I busy is good, but you got to be respectful of people's times, you guys. I mean, we're running a business here. I don't know for you, Miranda, but I mean, sometimes for me, there's days that I don't even talk to my wife, for the entire day. And there are some agents that unfortunately are just expecting you to drop everything that you're doing and answer them right away, or answer a text message and stuff like that. And unfortunately, you guys, I'm working on getting better at responding, right? But sometimes those messages do get lost. And obviously we all have priorities and things like that. But even if it's just something that could be answered through text, you guys definitely make sure that you guys can just text or a voice note on WhatsApp or whatever. Do that. And I want to open this up, because I know that you're more than willing to help those who are willing to grow. But if you guys need to, or have any additional questions, because unfortunately we did run out of time here with Miranda, we're gonna go ahead and let you guys reach out to her through social media, if possible. It's Miranda Peters. You can find her on Facebook. You can find her in the Atlanta office. Take advantage of that time, you guys. Zoom live dials every Mondays and Thursdays. She's always present. She's got a growing agency as well, and her agents are actually plugging in. Her team is plugging into our live dials as well. And I'm so glad, because I just have to say it. I mean, Mia, the growth that she's had is just amazing. And I'm really excited about her. As long as she doesn't give up, and as long as she doesn't quit, put you in the spot there, right?
She won't.
I know that she's going to accomplish a lot of things there. So I'm really excited, to see that. And it's exciting, guys, because you know what, again, we don't necessarily have any magic tricks. We really don't. If you guys get to talk to Miranda, you know, on a one-on-one basis, you guys are going to see that she's very simple at what she does, and then she doesn't complicate things. And I like to say that to everyone too, because you know, if this was complicated, I would have, I would not be doing it. You know, I don't necessarily have a lot of patience for all that. So I really hope that this helped you guys, and this is going to be on our YouTube page as early as tomorrow. If you guys have any additional questions, please make sure that you reach out to Miranda, you know, privately, and also make sure that you don't waste her time. Okay. So Miranda, thank you so much for sharing with us today, and we'll love to see you guys. I know that you're going to be also at the 7-Eleven team huddle, right?
Sure. Part of the family now, right?
Yes, I believe Miranda is going to be there as well as well as her team and Mia and everybody else. So make sure that you guys reach out. Please, please, please make sure you guys that you are um, reserving your spot, RSVPing for that event, and don't miss it. I know that there's a lot of people in here again from coast to coast, really, because there's people in. I know that we have people in Alaska, even. You guys, if you guys can please, please, please plan. You have more than a month away from planning for this event. There's going to be cash given away, and then the funny thing is that the cash prizes are going to be given because of your production. So that just means that you've already going to be creating income, and then you're going to be given more money. So there's going to be lead giveaways and all that stuff. So we don't do these often because of the fact that we're all over the place, but I feel that is a really, really good atmosphere. The Desiree today sent a link for hotels nearby the office. Thank you so much, Desiree, for doing that for us. Thank you for being on top of everything. We really appreciate you. Take advantage of all that, you guys, please. I hope that you'll have a great day. We're going to stay here. We're going to stop the recording. We're going to stay here to dial because it's only 3 p.m. A lot of you guys have given up already. So no, let's do that. Let's keep dialing. Thank you, Miranda, again. Have a great day,
Thank
everyone.
you guys for having me. Appreciate it.